International Culture Lab was founded 38 years ago in Chicago.
So I'm very excited to continue the work we've been doing for a couple of decades now.
Nous marchions sur une plage. C'était un automne où il faisait.
We do a lot of ritualistic sort of movement. Women gathering together, doing movements that are symbolic, where we're feeling the movements, we're doing movements, and also attaching emotions to them. We create rituals in sentient dance circles.
Ritual that came from the essence to open the most pure side of the human expression.
Be organic, be organic.
40 seconds crossing me. There is no time. The people is ready and there's no time for me to say. Having working in the last 2 decades in the USA, trying to connect ritual, Butoh, Mexican connections and traditions with a new sense to develop our access into our sacred and purity side through spirit and body that came from Japan, asking ourselves what is the essence and the meaning of the most deep expression of our soul.
I'm super excited to be part of this whole festival and to be here on this special, very special, lovely stage, sideshow stage at Coney Island, and I really feel the history here and very charming. This piece is called Tatiana's Shadow, and it was inspired by my love for Jacques Tati, who's a French filmmaker and comedian. The whole idea of this piece is beings coming from an angelic realm down to earth to relive a lifetime of love and tragedy and sorrow within a cabaret setting in the early 1900s on Coney Island.
I'm Pink Velvet Witch. I am a surrealist, a performance artist, a multi-instrumentalist, and I have created a piece that we are performing today at the Ritual Cabaret Festival here in Coney Island at the legendary Sideshow by the Seashore. My background in Ritual Cabaret is mostly rooted in my concept of being a practicing witch. And I feel it is very important within the realm of performance to always add to the ambience.
Listen to my voice, let it soothe you. You have to stay calm. I am made out of glass! How can someone who is made out of glass?
The piece that we're working on today is based on a 1933 piece written by Andre Breton, The Irrational Knowledge of the Object, a piece of pink velvet. And very influenced by Breton's manifestos and by the whole movement of surrealism. And the idea of tying that in with spirituality, with primal magic practices. That's what, to me, spiritual ritual cabaret is.
I mean, theater is completely condensed with rituals and in its own right, and so they definitely marry well together. I really feel like in terms of the movement and the amount of space I take up on stage definitely informs a masculine energy, as well as the detailing of one of the masks used, and the feminine energy lives within the Nega mask, like the be-all and end-all spirit within the piece. So transforming between the two masks envelopes and changes the energy for the wearer.
One of the groups that are performing here today, Maplewood Gardens, and I just love the combining of the two.
It's a traditional costume choice for us to be in robes. We have traveled the country with a case full of robes for all occasions.
All different colors.
But we really like the simplicity of the robes and sort of their leanings in terms of religious sects, and it is a nice way of separating it from just plain clothes or street clothes, but it also doesn't feel fully performative.
I feel like eye contact is super disruptive too. It's not something that happens on a regular basis, and it's so vitally human. You can really tell where a person is just by looking in their eyes, and you fall in love, and you see people be terrified, and see people who can't stop laughing because it's such a uncomfortable moment or such a just out of the norm. It's so beautiful, and that's feels spiritual to me. Yeah.
And especially in a space where not knowing any people, and this is our first time performing in New York and performing at Coney, so it was a really great way to make a really intimate connection really fast with everyone in the audience. And I think that's something with the work that we do. It feels like a gift, like we want to give something to the audience, but also with the way that our performances are, it always feels like we're getting a gift from the audience also.
I'm Lou Mandolini. Tonight I performed a work in progress titled Bearded Lady of the Bowery, and I created an immortal showgirl who gets cursed with both a full beard and immortality. I was fascinated by the Bearded Lady character. I personally identify as non-binary, so I'm always drawn to characters both historically and contemporary that mix gender lines. For me, researching both freak shows and genetic mutations is a fascination and a passion of mine. Come As You Are, for me, the first time I drove a car alone by myself, Come As You Are came on the radio. For me, it's this assertion of independence. Obviously, I think the irony in the song in terms of Kurt's lyrics saying that he doesn't have a gun and we know his untimely demise. To me, in terms of being a genuine performer and always being true to yourself and against the nonsense that seems to come and go within New York City, Kurt was sort of someone who stuck to their guns, and so it helped me to find and create a character who also stuck to their guns over time throughout many years as the city changed.
Talk! I have a cock! My vagina, click, clock. Pretty strong dickory duck. Blue or pink lollipop. Boy on boy, girl on girl. Yang and yin, out and in. Kiss me softly on the cheek. Let's get coffee sometime next week. Harder, faster, soft or slow. Unclit, uncock, lock, open, close. Undo time, and as it moves and slows and slows and moves, and somehow you can begin to feel your sun and your moon pulling you in and out.
The whole idea of the ritual cabaret that we have this weekend, that Butoh, which begins in Japan, is interpreted by Diego, this incredible teacher from Mexico, and Gabrielle and Nick from Cultural Theater Lab, have brought it to Coney Island and are exploring cabaret, even ritual cabaret, and bringing in performers aside from the workshop that Diego was running, is creating this fascinating mixture that's very different than what usually happens on our Coney Island stage, and yet fascinating.
Really, especially here with all these professionals now that we had here, to really give the performers in the festival what they want, exactly what they want, and more than what they want. And so it's satisfying to give the artists that, as much as it is for us to do our own art. I mean, in a lot of ways, this is the art now of. It's sort of our producing art. Right?
Yes, in this particular instance especially. But we work with a lot of really great people right from the start, starting with Brandon Perdomo.
It's funny how worlds collide. I think the city is a web that starts and ends in the center. So some of these performers, these artists that I've met, we've either performed together, we've taken photographs together, we've seen each other's performance. Some were recommended to me, some were, in the Coney Island community. Just makes sense. I think the task of putting together what ritual cabaret can be expressed as was similar to, I don't know, taking a photograph or painting or drawing a piece. It's work on intuition. I think everybody comes with different flavors and shades and colors of a very similar context, and it was a lot of hive minding and intuition placing.
And when it all starts coming together and you see what all of the work and the energy that everybody has put into it, from Coney Island USA staff to each of the individual acts, how hard they've worked to do their 15-minute piece, how hard Diego and his ensemble over here, how they're toiling away when they came in and started setting up their thing here. And, that's when the payoff comes. And you remember why you like doing it, even if it's kicking and screaming the entire way. It's just really exciting work. Diego is rehearsing next door. He's having a workshop, and that's why the performance is different every night, because he prepares for a really long time before he ever gets here.
I believe in ritual, I believe in Butoh, I believe in Cabaret, coming from the Western cultures to reconnect ourselves into our intimacy, basically. I accept to be here and to push everyone to move all the individuals staffs and challenges to connect with the collectiveness sense, to get a sense of evolution.
It's just been really wonderful to see what Nick and Gabi have grown in this time with the amazing Brandon also joining the team. So I've just been really, really impressed and excited about what the festival has become over the years. So really excited to be part of it in a different way this year.
I need to say that motivation that pushed me and allowed me to be here directing all these incredible dancers is just to transcend the idea of genders. What is masculine and what is feminine? When we are both, tonight, we get into the point, and maybe for some of them, challenge when I said, okay, can you go and touch your androgynous? Please, why not? We are here to touch that. Finally, I think everyone get and surrendering into that term, symbol, or it's not archetype, because in the modern society, in the Western society, we don't accept the archetype of androgynous at all. But I am using, because I think my mother and my father is with me. And finally, I really don't know who I am. And that is the basic question of the whole process 3 days ago until now. Who I am, I don't know. I am my mother, I am my father, but I am more than masculine and feminine. And that is the future. That is our evolution.
This is my first time performing at Coney Island, and it was my first time doing burlesque, sort of, and my second time singing live in front of people. Woohoo!
I feel like it was only yesterday that we were poring over a book of surrealism and digesting this piece together. So I'm excited to bring it to fruition on the stage finally.
If you think what is being featured in this film is a little bit weird, weird is good, we encourage experimentation. You should take chances. You should go be in things and pay to buy a ticket for things that are a little bit different and a little bit challenging. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ritual Cabaret.